Spectre Island. Is that a thing? And does that ever come back?
Welcome to Spectre Island.
No, Spectre Island doesn't come back, but that scene, going through Spectre Island and you see everybody training, that whole scene was kind of inspired by the movie Spartacus, when you had all the gladiators, training.
There's an amazing part where a guy's learning how to shoot a flamethrower, but there's an actual man dodging the flamethrower at the back.
It's too bad Quarrel didn't receive that training.
Maybe it was himself.
He just, it's quite unfortunate for him.
I won't often bring up odd editing because, as we talked about last week, there's always odd edits and cheats that they do. They do purposeful jump cuts and they speed up stuff. They speed up the train a lot, even though it looks goofy. They still do it, so it's more exciting. But in that scene, I don't know if you noticed, but they literally extended the set by way of editing. So what they did was they walk in and we're tracking with them and we're seeing all these guys shooting and flamethrowing and all that. And then at the end of the scene, they walk frame right, but then they cut back to the wide shot of the whole scene, and it makes it look like they're walking into an entire new section of training, but really they're just walking into the same scene because you can see the layout of here's guys shooting on the range and then the flamethrower guy and then all the guys fighting each other. If you go back and watch that scene, they walk into the same scenario twice, but they made it look like it was a lot bigger, and that's how you stretch $2 million into what looks to be a lot bigger.
They did it pretty skillfully because I did not even remotely detect that.
Yeah.
Great sport, this.
What did you say?
I said it's great sport, this bunting.
I couldn't agree with him more.
That scene is where we first see James Bond in this movie, and it's 18 minutes in, and I was kind of curious. With Dr. No, Spectre's a much more like background mysterious type of thing, and in this film, we just see Spectre for like the first 18 minutes.
I agree with Charlie when he said early on, we were talking about how now this film doesn't end like Empire Strikes Back, but in the fact that this film is the revenge story for the villains. I feel like the villains are so much more in the forefront in this movie. You almost could argue that Bond isn't necessarily the main character in this movie. I mean, yeah, he is, but we spend so much time with Spectre and what their plan is.
Spectre drives the plot.
Exactly.
As opposed to Bond driving the plot.
It's kind of like the way people say that Infinity War was the Thanos movie,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Because we've already set up all the heroes. So Bond as a hero has already been set up. This is the Spectre movie that was hinted at in the same way that Thanos put on the glove or whatever in the first Avengers movie. Spectre was hinted at before, and now this is the first instance of guy who's not seen sitting around petting Mr. Bigglesworth. And go ahead, McCurdy.
All right. Charlie's been holding me back and be like, I'm not letting you talk about this until we come to it. It's not that big of a deal either, but... So the guy...
Yes, it is!
It's not that big a deal! It's not! So the actor who plays Blofeld in this movie, and if you see at the end of credits, they do call him Ernest Blofeld, but they put a question mark next to him, which is kind of an old movie thing. You'd see that a lot in older films. They did it with Karloff and Frankenstein. But Anthony Dawson, if you guys remember, as Patterson was pointing out last time, he gets brutally murdered by Bond. He played Professor Dent. This is that same actor who's playing the stand-in for Blofeld. Now, he doesn't voice him, but in this film, he's playing Blofeld, and he is stroking that cat.
There's maybe one shot where you can just maybe tell from his profile. You just get a little piece of him, but you can...
With his hair, yeah.
Once you know that, you can kind of see, I guess that's him. I mean, the mystery's ruined forever, essentially.
Well, that's kind of the feeling I got with the whole Spectre Island. I was like... This feels silly seeing this little camp for all these guys to go train at.
Yeah, Spectre kind of works best when it's literally a Spectre, just a shadow that could be anywhere. They're everywhere at one time. And yeah, the guy, he's like, welcome to Spectre Island. Hey, our swimming pool is shaped like an octopus.
The first thing you should know about us is that we have people everywhere. Am I right?
Spectre works better when it is mysterious.
Yeah.
How good of a touch is the cocktail napkin at the beginning of the movie?
That stuff is perfect.
Where he sees...
That is perfect. That's what we're talking about.
Where he sees you are required at once in an octopus. That's just brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah. That kind of like, we're everywhere. Speaking of Marvel movies, that's what Hydra is. That's what Spectre is. They have a tentacled octopus, or this mystical beast as their
mascot,
their coat of arms, because the literal Hydra mythical creature, you cut one of its heads off and two take its place. It's supposed to illustrate the fact that we are everywhere and you can't kill us. And so Spectre and Hydra are literally the same thing. And there's this shared sense of paranoia that they bring about because you never know where they are. But then when you show up to Spectre Island, it just kind of ruins that paranoid feeling of they're everywhere.
Make it an underground bunker, not like an island paradise.
Yeah.